Have you ever noticed how hard it can be when love tries to reach you? Not because you don't want it, but because fear steps in first? Maybe your body freezes, maybe you shut down, maybe you pretend like everything is fine when something inside of you is aching to be heard. This week, I noticed something about myself, a pattern I've been carrying for decades. And for the first time, it began to soften, and that softening allowed me to receive love in a ways that I never have before. Hi there, if we've never met, my name is Raquel Perez, and I am a licensed therapist here in the state of Colorado and the creator of Everyday Therapy. Welcome to week 3 of my healing journey. It's where I share what healing looks like for me in real time. The tender moments, the breakthroughs, and the shifts happening inside of my relationships and my body. And this week, the theme that kept returning to me was this: how I was learning to receive love. Over the years, I've noticed something about myself, a pattern that shows up when life feels too big or too hard. I freeze. I become paralyzed with fear. I bury my head right in the sand, pretending everything is fine, even when my whole body is screaming for help. When something is overwhelming, I get that feeling in the pit of my stomach, that ache that tells me something is wrong. And then I completely shut down. This week, I saw that pattern happening right in front of me in real time. My youngest son, who is now 22 years old, has been struggling with something for a really long time now. And this week, as I watched him, that very familiar feeling, it started to hit me. The pit in my stomach, the tightening, the urge to freeze and pretend that everything is okay. But this time, I didn't bury my head in the sand. I noticed my body, I noticed my fear, and I noticed the ache. And instead of freezing, I got up and I walked over to his room and I shared with him what I was feeling, my worry, my concern, my love, and something magical started to happen. I started to feel both of us begin to soften, and the tension that was existing between us also started to soften. And then it opened up space for a real conversation. It was brief, but genuine. It was grounded and full of heart. And the most beautiful part, it didn't feel forced. It didn't feel like I was pushing myself. It came from a place of sincere and natural love. That was new for me. And that was part of my healing journey. And then there was a conversation that I had with my girlfriend of 4.5 years. We started to have a conversation about a rupture that had happened between us. A rupture that came from both of us really deeping down into our defenses and our protection and our nervous systems colliding against each other. In the past, this kind of a conversation, it would have sent me spiraling into my defensiveness, my protection, or completely shutting down. But this time, I was able to stay grounded. I owned where my defenses were coming from. I acknowledged what was mine, and together we kept the conversation going. We kept talking, kept healing, and kept repairing. We also revisited a shared commitment that we have of pausing our conversations when we become activated, so that we can allow ourselves time to regulate and return to the conversation when we feel more ready to do that. I also found myself offering us both more grace. I found myself choosing connection with her over my protection. That is another way that love found me this week. And then this morning, after my yoga practice, I checked in with my inner child. A few weeks ago, I shared a little bit about my healing journey with my inner child. And this morning, she came forward pretty quickly as soon as I was done with my yoga. She looked up at me with a soft and gentle smile, a smile that said, "I am still here." I smiled back at her and I told her I'm still listening. I reminded her that she is beautiful, worthy, important, and deeply loved. I hugged her and I kissed her on the top of the head. Then, very softly and gently, she folded right back inside of me. I felt whole, I felt connected, And I felt so loved, not just by others, but by something from within myself. Receiving love has been one of the hardest parts of my healing journey because it requires us to be open. And openness requires us to be safe. When our bodies have learned to freeze, protect, or brace, letting love in can feel terrifying. But when we become aware of our patterns, like I did with my son this week, the freeze, it begins to soften and loosen. And when we stay grounded in relationships, the way I was able to this week with my partner, connection becomes possible. And when we nurture our inner child, like I was able to this morning after my yoga practice, we show ourselves that we are worthy of being seen and loved. This is how I've learned to receive love, one gentle and soft moment at a time. I would like to invite you to explore and be curious about this question. Where are you learning to receive love? Maybe you've noticed a moment where you didn't shut down as quickly. Maybe you offered yourself a little bit more grace than what you usually do. These are not small things. They are the foundation of your healing journey. And if you would like to explore this a little bit more deeply, I have a companion meditation to allow you the space to do that. It's called Learning to Receive Love Again. It's a gentle invitation to loosen your grip of self-protection and allow love to meet you where you are. You can find it right here or linked in the description down below. And before you go, I want to invite you to download my free booklet called Sacred Spaces. If you've been following this healing journey with me, you know how essential safety is. Safety in our bodies, safety in our relationships, and safety within our own hearts. Inside the booklet, you'll find gentle grounding practices to help your body settle, reflections and prompts to deepen your insight, simple guidance for understanding your nervous system, rituals to help you create emotional and energetic safety, ways to begin meeting yourself with more tenderness. It's a companion for you to support your healing on the days that feel soft and the days that feel hard. You can download it using the link below down in the description. Thank you truly for being here, for walking this journey with me, and for choosing to meet yourself with love. I'll see you again next week when we continue unfolding this journey together, one layer at a time. Well, my friend, until next time, bye for now.